This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and this is the Samsung Galaxy Watch 8 for 2025. So a new design, right? It's been round, a nice little minimalist circle forever. And I think people really like that about it. So Samsung threw out the window and made it a little bit more like their Ultra, which is to say a squircle. It is a round watch face, right? And a kind of rounded, squared off base underneath it. It makes it look a little chunkier, maybe a little more unique design-wise compared to all the other round watches in the world. I don't know. But it's actually lighter and thinner than before. We're going to look at it now. So new design aside, it's still sapphire glass and an aluminum casing, and still available in two sizes, 40 and 44 millimeters. We have the 40 millimeter, I guess, because I'm a woman, they decided to send me that as a review loaner, but sometimes I do wear larger size versions of these, to be honest, and it works just fine, but I am 5 feet 10 inches if you're trying to figure out the sizing for yourself. Speaking of that, besides the casing overall squircleness of it changing, the lug design changed for the better for most of us, unless you had really, really big, beefy wrists. I mean, the lugs used to stick kind of straight out, and you can see on screen what I mean, last generation versus this one. Now they aim down a little bit, which is commonsensical, isn't it, right? Your wrist is a oval, a circular oval thing. So it used to stick out too much for me. So even when the band actually properly fit, I wear the small size bands, it didn't make as much contact as it could. So I think that that's an improvement in design. It's a new band attachment system as well. It's going to drive you crazy where you want, I suppose you want to keep using your same favorite bands forever and ever. Nope, can't do that. The good news is it has gotten even easier to attach. They went from absolutely annoying, break your fingernails kind of thing in the really old school ones with the little slide pin system to a push button system last year that still operated two tiny little pins that could be a little fidgety. The pins are gone now, so it is easier to manage. And there's 4 kinds of bands that kind of somewhat mimic what Apple does. You've got this one here, which is the sport band, which is your hypoallergenic, rubbery kind of band thing. There's a fabric one, which is, well, the traditional fabric band. There is a athleisure, what a horrible name for a band. That's sort of like the woven weave kind of fabric-y bands. And then there's hybrid, which is the one that looks like leather. So you've got your choice there. When you order it, if you order it direct from Samsung, you can pick a band versus going to the store and getting one pre-packaged, which usually will probably have just this sport band. The band is comfortable enough, even though it does wrap around my wrist better. I noticed that when I wear it for sleep tracking, and boy, does this thing have sleep tracking features, I can still see the light bleeding in the dark from underneath. So it doesn't fit as snug as it could, which may affect some of the reliability of the readings, particularly in sleep when you do put lateral pressure on it a bit more. But overall, improved. Do I like the round look better? Yes, I admit I do. Is there a reason for this? Well, probably to make this band attachment system and stuff like that, which I do like, so that's okay. It's not a bad looking watch at any rate. And it weighs either 30 or 34 grams, which is incredibly light depending on which size you get, so no complaints. And it's, much as the squircle design makes it look chunky, it's pretty thin too. This is you don't even know you have it on kind of watch. But for those of you who missed the classic with the rotating bezel, it's back again this year, right? They killed everybody, was really sad. So it's back this year. If you want to spend about $550, that's available as a 46 millimeter model watch too. So that's good for those of you who like the physical rotating bezel and maybe even bigger kind of watch. And of course, there is the Ultra that they offer. They updated that for 2025 as well. Software-wise, we have Wear OS 6 here with One UI 8. One UI 8 is great. Software improvements in terms of usability, intuitiveness, and also to speed up most things. They did a good job there. That Wear OS has already come to the first gen Ultra, and I expect it's going to be coming, you know, One UI 8, to the older Galaxy Watch 7 and so on as well. There's no reason why it shouldn't. In fact, this is running the same Exynos W1000 CPU, 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage as the previous generation, so you're not getting any change there. Also with this model, and I hope this should retroactively come to the Galaxy Watch 7 at least, is Gemini. And I mean, I admit I'm kind of addicted to Gemini, better than your basic Google responses to things, you know, when you ask a question. So you can press the button or you can use voice commands to activate that. So that's kind of great. I'm always looking up random stuff all the time and wanting to know factoids. Good stuff for that. When it comes to the health and fitness stuff, it tracks everything you heard of and thought of and things that you never knew you wanted. There's the ages thing, which is your advanced glycation, la la la. Basically, probably is how much blood sugar stuff is going on, or I don't know. It's supposed to measure balance. I'll tell you what, I did notice a difference though, because like in the past year, I've decided to not carb load so much. So, and it said my ages index has improved and it's really good now. So maybe they are onto something. And then they have your antioxidant reading now. That's a new thing. So for that, you take the watch off and you press your thumb. You really could use any figure. They just say thumb is easier. On the back of the watch, and it measures. But it only measures carotenoids. There's a couple of different antioxidant types. So if you score low, it might say go ahead, eat more leafy greens and strawberries. But those leafy greens really won't make a difference because it wants you to eat orange things, carotenoids. That's what they are. Eat a lot of carrots. Eat a lot of cantaloupe. I eat so much of that stuff, right? And it says I'm in great health in every which way, but it still says I'm very low in antioxidants, but I don't happen to eat a lot of carrots. I just ain't a rabbit. I do eat a lot of cantaloupe, but the reason you're supposed to press your finger hard on the back is to force the blood away. I really think it's literally looking at the oranginess of your skin or something like that. I don't know. That one's a little weird. Then there's the new vascular load. I don't know what that means, it's not super well explained. Maybe it will be in the future, but vascular health, I guess, your circulation, all of that sort of thing, oxygenation, I don't know. It says mine's really good, so yay that. And I think it measures that mostly when you're sleeping, and it tracks everything else, heart rate variability, and which interestingly, according to my Apple Watch, both of them say high to very high, but they come up with different numbers for heart rate variability, and this one just seems to look at it being the same from day to week to month and all that sort of thing. So I don't know. It is what it is. And it does do blood oxygen, which is something that Apple has removed from their latest watches due to a patent dispute that they decided to not want to pay on. So there's that. It's nice to have that feature. I find it works really well, except for when I'm sleeping, when, there are a couple of times maybe I would have been legally dead. I don't know. I think it really doesn't always make really great contact when I'm sleeping. And again, the ergonomics of this for somebody who has about 145 millimeter wrist, maybe not perfect for that stuff, but it has blood oxygen, and largely, unless you're sleeping, it works. Sleep tracking is, of course, it's going to try to estimate your deep sleep, your REM sleep, your light sleep, and how restless you are. Restlessness-wise, it seems pretty accurate. Deep sleep, it disagrees wildly with the Apple Watch. Who knows which one of these is right? Take it with a grain of salt. But as an overall measure of restlessness, which it is, they are pretty good at. You've got that. And it will measure your wrist temperature while you're sleeping. It takes like 3 days. Apple has that feature too. And then it tells you, it compares to baseline to see if there's a big change. But according to this, I have like a 6-degree body temperature change overnight all the time. And I'm really surprised. I don't know if that's accurate. Again, it may have more to do with it not maintaining contact. Anyway, not to say that there's more data here than you would ever actually find useful, because, well, there kind of is, but there's all the useful stuff too. The sleep tracking is useful. The body temperature overall can be an indication of you're getting sick, that sort of thing. The exercise and fitness stuff are quite good. I find that they agree with all the other fitness wearables that I have tested, which is good. Any momentary differences you see are probably due to how quickly the display is updating or something like that, but the heart rate is correct. The type of exercise you can select from, everything. 30 atmospheres of water resistance, so you can go swimming with this thing. It is a great fitness tracker, and the Samsung software on the phone is really nice for looking at all of that stuff. One thing I will say is, no matter how good your numbers are and how much you've exercised, like I exercised for an hour and a half yesterday and said, wow, that's better than your peers. You could do better. I kind of feel like, other wearables are like, yay, you did a thing, even if you go for a walk, and they make you feel good and pat you on the back. Not that they don't encourage you, but Samsung always makes me feel like I ain't doing enough. A little more positivity might be nice. But if you need that kick in the pants, this will kick you in the pants. You might think that there's squared off case design might get you a bigger battery. Not really, no. And the 44 millimeter, of course, has a bit bigger battery, so it will do a little bit better than our 40 millimeter. The difference in display size is 1.3 versus 1.5 inch AMOLED, so it's not huge in terms of battery consumption. By the way, this generation is brighter than last gen. Not that I had complaints about last gen, but there is that. But anyway, battery life is still pretty much, this is a one-day watch, and that's not great. It's still a little short of the Apple Watch. It's way short of the OnePlus Watch 3, but that's not the fairest comparison because that's a bigger, chunkier watch with room for a bigger battery inside, right? But yeah, I can exercise for 45 minutes, do normal things otherwise, sleep through the night and have 10% left, and that's about it. So if you want to use it for sleep tracking, you're going to have to throw it on the charger. The good news is it does charge very quickly. It's, again, similarly to the Apple Watch. So I throw it on there for like 20 minutes and I've gained like 60% of my battery charge back again. So you can go and take a shower and charge the thing up and keep it going. It's not a heartbreak, but it could be better there. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more cool tech videos. And thumbs up if you like this vid.